Injury front wise, Donovan Peoples-Jones will be back out there today, having cleared the protocols. We will not have Jack Conklin out there due to illness, and Terrence Mitchell, not injury related. On the COVID front, getting Sendejo and BJ Goodson back, as well as Elijah Benton on the practice squad. And then, coaches wise, Chad O'Shea will be back out there today. And then for the game, similar to last week, Ryan Cordell will handle the offensive line. Callie Brownson will handle the tight ends, and Brandon Lynch will handle the defensive backs. And as you know, Coach Prefer will handle the head coaching duties. Worked hard with the league office and Andrew Berry and Joe Sheehan, making sure we could get out there safely today. And after some discussion, it was agreed upon to get out there and get some work in. But again, safety being the number one priority. So that's what's going on right now over at the facility. They'll have a walkthrough into practice and then get some good work in ahead of this game on Sunday. And with that, I will take any questions.
Thank you, Coach. First one goes to Tom Withers.
Thanks, Rob. Hey, Kevin. Just considering the constraints of the week, how will you modify today's practice? Will today be more of kind of a Wednesday look, or are you just having to cram a lot into one?
Yeah, similar to last week, Tom, where we got out in the field briefly Wednesday, nothing on Thursday. Then we had a Friday plus. So it's kind of how we'll treat today. We'll have a Friday practice, add a couple periods, added a walkthrough. We've spent a lot of time on Zoom, so had a lot of virtual work, but now we'll be able to get some physical work out there today.
I don't know, Kevin, is it a sense of relief just to be able to get out there and let the guys feel what it's like to be out on the field again?
Yeah, I think the players and the coaches always like to be out on the grass with the guys. I think that's much better than being on these Zoom calls. So I think they're excited to get out there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tom. Jake Trotter, you're next.
Yeah, Kevin, kind of going through the projected injury report after today's practice. So Miles, questionable with shoulder, Sheldon, questionable with neck. Do you expect them to play Sunday night? Can you kind of give a sense of where those two guys are?
Yeah, I'm confident about those two guys, Jake. I think, without us putting our eyes on some of these guys, that's kind of where we got to get through this practice and see them. But those two in particular, I'm confident about.
Have you ironed out, or has the team ironed out the plans to get to Pittsburgh? Are you going to leave Saturday? Are you going to fly? Is that still in flux at all?
We are going to leave Saturday. We are going to fly.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Jake. We'll go to Mary Kay Cabot.
Yeah, when you hear Jack Conklin not practicing with an illness, of course that always raises a little bit of a red flag. And with the protocols going on right now, I mean, is this one of those situations where he has to leave and go home for a few days and not be around you guys?
I think we'll just follow the protocols, Mary Kay. You're right. In this day and age, you have an illness and you got to be safe with that, but we'll just make sure we follow the protocols.
But I mean, so you can't answer if he's in one of those situations where, like earlier in the year where Odell had to go home for a while and Miles had to go home for a while, where they have to test negative twice within 24 hours to come back. You can't say if that's his situation.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. No.
Okay. Just in terms of, Miles and Jack Conklin both made first team all pro today. So can you just kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's outstanding. Like we talk about it, I always want our guys to get individual accolades. I think it speaks ultimately to the team, but I'm proud of those guys. I think they're more than deserving. So that's always something that I'm looking forward to. All those guys being recognized because it's important. But those two in particular, I think, would tell you it's definitely within the framework of team success.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. We'll go to Tony Zarella.
Kevin, I know Mike Prefer has done this before. In terms of the game day situations when everything's probably coming at you very fast, what do you think the biggest challenge is going to be for him?
Well, I think our staff the entire season, Tony, has done a great job of communicating offense, defense, special teams. I think that sideline, I pride myself, we pride ourselves on being able to think and communicate clearly. And I don't see that changing at all. And I think Coach Preef understands what needs to occur, things that have to happen on game day, and that's really the entire coaching staff understanding how we operate and how we communicate doesn't change.
Thank you, Tony. Nate Ulrich, you're up.
Hey, Kevin, how does the cancellation of Wednesdays and Thursdays practices affect your Saturday? Are you able to do anything more, or is it just a normal walkthrough and travel day?
Yeah, very similar to last week. We might add a few walkthrough type things, but really will be a Saturday that the guys are familiar with.
Okay, and then obviously you said Coach O'Shea back today. Do you have any updates on the other guys who missed, Sunday's game due to COVID? With Denzel Ward, Kevin Johnson, Malcolm Smith, Harrison Bryant, Bill Callahan. Anybody from that group?
Yeah, I don't have any updates on those guys, Nate.
Thanks, Nate. Jeff Shadell, you're up.
Kevin, of course, we know you cannot be on the sideline Sunday, but can you tell us how long or when is the last time you could talk to the team? Can you address them via Zoom in the locker room before the game, or how does that work out?
Yeah, I mean, I'll address the team the night before the game, Jeff, like I normally do. But once it's game time and in that locker room, Coach Prefer will be serving that role. And again, I have a ton of faith in him. The guys know the message. They don't need a Zoom call from me before the game to understand what they need to do.
Thank you, Jeff. Scott Petrick has our next question.
Hey, Kevin, do you have a sense for whether or not Terrence Mitchell will be able to play Sunday?
I don't have a sense, no.
And then I guess with not knowing about Denzel either, how hard is that uncertainty at that pivotal position?
Yeah, uncertainty has been the name of the game, Scott. So we got plans and we'll adjust as need be.
And Nate asked you about the guys on the COVID list. Can you rule out any of those guys, whether or not, Denzel or Malcolm or any of those guys?
I'll just let the protocols be what they are. When you're on the list, you're on, and when you're off, you're off.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Next is Tony Grossi.
Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Wanted to know if you will live watch the practice today and be in communication.
Yeah, there's a chance I'll live watch it, yes, over Zoom, but I won't be radioing in any corrections. We'll make the corrections on Saturday morning.
And curious about your decision to fly. Is that a change of plans, or why do you feel that's the best way to get there, considering the COVID situation?
Yeah, I just would tell you any of those type of decisions, Tony, lean heavily on the medical staff and experts.
So it sounds like it's COVID related.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Aditi Kinkhabwala, you're up.
Lots of buttons here. JC Treader was saying that you ordinarily always do a really good job of talking to the line about what run plays do you like? What do you like to do here? Why? Why is that your coaching philosophy to always include your assistants and always include your players?
Yeah, I mean, the players have a pretty good sense on what's working. They have a front row seat. So I try to lean on them as to what schemes they think have a chance. So anytime you can get input from guys like JC, all the veteran guys that you trust, you can get a feel for what's working, what's not. I mean, there's certain blocking schemes that put stress on certain guys. And if they have a good feel for what maybe will work or won't, I think that's important for a play caller.
I know that your kids are still young, but AVP described the other day as this is kind of like sending your kids off to college, that you hope that you've given your team everything that you want to, and you trust them to do what they need Sunday. Is that fair? Is that kind of how you feel? Or is there a little anxiety about not being there?
Well, I've never sent them off to college. I've also never watched my team play from my basement. So I can probably answer that better next week. But, Aditi, I do think I've tried to make the point. I think the players, I know the coaches understand this. We've established who we are over the course of a season. So the guys know that. They don't need me to remind them about any of that at this point.
Thank you, D. We'll go back to Mary Kay Cabot.
Yeah, Coach, can you just talk a little bit about how Baker Mayfield has sort of handled the week? He told us yesterday that he hadn't thrown a ball yet, and we know these guys are doing virtual walkthroughs. He also mentioned that he didn't think that not practicing on, at least on Wednesday and Thursday, would impact the performance against the Steelers. So how has he, shown leadership and done what you need him to do this week?
Yeah, he's locked in, Mary Kay, through these virtual meetings. I think he's done a great job. He always does on our calls. I think he fully understands the game plan, understands the opponent. He's somebody who's I've been very impressed to watch him work and watch him prepare. Obviously, different when you're talking about the virtual aspect of it, but I think it'll be beneficial for him and all the guys to get moving around today. And get some of these wrinkles to this game plan, get them physically worked through.
And just very briefly, what is a virtual walkthrough? What does that look like? I mean, do you have like guys in their basement, guys in the kitchen? I mean, how does it work when they're virtually walking through?
Yeah, we call it a virtual walkthrough. It's nothing more than putting the cards up for practice. So the taking the scout team card and put it on the screen and, all right, here's the look that you're getting. Offensive line, talk through your call. All right, look at the coverage. What are maybe some of your adjustments that you're going to make on this route, wide receiver? All right, quarterback, chime in. What's your read? Those type of things. It sounds cooler than it is.
They're not running into the refrigerator or anything like that.
That's not advised.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Jake Trotter, you're next.
Yeah, Kevin, we've talked to Alex, we've talked to Mike this week. They both said they're going to try to kind of channel you, be an extension of you, even though they're their own people as well. So, what has your message been to them in terms of balancing? Okay, what would Kevin do in this situation versus do what you think is the right thing to do?
Yeah, I've talked to those guys, and we'll continue to talk over the next 48 hours. But we've had 16 games to kind of establish the way we do things. So this entire coaching staff has been a huge part of that and the way we operate and the way we call the game and those type of things. So I don't see there being a huge deviation to what we've done the last 16 games because it's truly a collaborative group effort.
Do you have any idea like what Sunday is going to be like for you? How involved you're going to be leading up to the game? Coach Prefer said he's going to be giving the pregame speech, but have you given much thought to what the buildup is going to be like for you guys Sunday?
No, I mean, once you get to game day, those are long days waiting for those games to start. So I'm sure there'll be some phone calls here or there, but by and large, a lot of the work is done. We'll have a walkthrough Sunday morning at some point with offense and defense, brief one just to go over some of the finer points. But again, I can't stress enough how much I trust the coaches we have, the players to do their jobs. It's not going to be me inserting myself into the game plan on Sunday.
Hey, Jake, we have time for two more. We'll go to Dan Lobby and Scott Petrick. Dan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Speaking of trusting those coaches, Ryan Cordell is not a name we've heard a lot, but he's kind of thrust into coaching the O-line now with your guys out. What can you tell us about him, and why is he kind of your choice to do that?
Yeah, Ryan's been working with the offensive line since the spring, working closely with Bill and Scott. So he knows how we operate. He does a lot of the run drawings. And as somebody who's done run drawings in my past, that's one way to really understand the run game. So he's worked in different schemes before. So he knows what he's talking about. And I think he has a good rapport with that offensive line.
And how important when you're building your staff is it to have a guy like that and Callie and other young coaches who are really versatile and can do different things?
Yeah, I've said it before. You need utility players in a season like this, and that's where I'm happy to have people like Ryan and Callie to step in these moments.
Thank you, Dan. Final question, Scott Petrick.
Hey, Kevin, what can you tell us about Michael Dunn? Obviously, we haven't seen a whole lot of him. And how important is it for him to actually have a practice, given the fact that I'm not sure he's ever lined up next to Jedrick and JC?
Yeah, I think that's the benefit of getting on the field today is for players to get in different spots and have some of those communication things going on. And then, Michael's like a lot of players, we may be counting on him Sunday. So we trust in their preparation. He's somebody that is always on point in what we're doing, gives a great look, can fill in at multiple spots on the offensive line. So versatility is key in a season like this.